But think about it. Up until this point, we've been fighting mostly Pete and Maleficent. Because, you know, they want to get involved in our stuff. The organization hasn't had anything to do with that.
The problem is...
Because the organization isn't really concerned with that at the moment. The organization's plan hasn't gone full tilt yet. So that's why it makes sense. It would be weirder if I started running a nobody the second I landed out of Toy Town. Because then the question would arise, why weren't nobodies fighting me in Kingdom Hearts 1? Aside from, you know, they just didn't exist.
The King's in the Bailey. You better head over there.
Got it.
So yeah, it would make less sense for the second I drop out of, you know, my gummy ship for the first time, for Dusks to be everywhere. Because then that would be like, why? Why are you here? Actually, we did fight nobodies here the first time we came. We ran to the organization. So if anything, the only world where it would have made sense to fight nobodies would have been Beast Castle.
It's just a weird thing of...
It is, yes. From a video game standpoint, game logic would say, I should be fighting nobodies. But if you think about it, it actually makes sense that until this point, before the organization was, like, super involved with our affairs.
Hey, look, it's Square collectively wanking off their animation budget.
And so it makes sense that this is the point in the game where nobodies, because let's face it, this is the point in the game where nobodies and the organization start appearing. You know, we go to Mulan's world, we see some organization stuff. There are some nobodies. This castle has Zaldin.
Sometimes when you see...
not much in Olympus Coliseum, but, you know, that's also an optional world. So, you know, we can let that one slide. You don't actually have to go to Olympus Coliseum at all. It's optional.
Aerith, why aren't you doing shit?
When we go to Pirates of the Caribbean, Luxord actively dicks with us. He's controlling a Heartless, but nobodies are still there. Gamblers are still there.
Why is Stitch fighting?
You know, I kind of forgot Stitch was here. Oh, this is my favorite fucking cutscene in the game.
But the only two worlds that, you know, are debatably weird are, you know, Agrabah and Halloween Town. They're not optional. You have to play them. Organization's just not involved.
That is my favorite fucking scene.
Pride Lands, optional again. Well, I love this one.
Look at these two.
Look, they actually try to give them personality in this cutscene.
Let this man speak.
Well, might be tough if one more shows up.
Then that'll have to be the one I take care of.
What? You're fighting too?
Where were the scenes like this the entire series?
They were literally seeing who could out emo who.
What are you talking about? They were literally
They were
talking
having an emo dick measuring
No,
contest.
they were not.
Mine's bigger. No, mine's bigger.
Nah, man.
It's
You're
the
being
androgynous
cheeky.
asshole himself!
Hey, that's my line.
Sephiroth.
Ooh. Funny thing. Cloud's gonna run away, but this is literally where we find him later.
I understand that you've been looking for me.
Yeah. Once I get rid of you, the darkness will go away.
Oh,
Can you
God, it's emo.
When you realize that Sephiroth's sword reaches Cloud from where Sephiroth is standing.
Sephiroth is compensating for length. Cloud is compensating for width. We've gone over this before.
Hey, if anyone's was that long, that it would just not be possible. You can only stick half of it in.
You don't.
I said he's compensating for length.
Are we sure that we're not the ones having the dick measuring contest?
When you give someone a sword that long, like,
But no.
what else do you want me to think?
So no, what I'm saying is that it makes sense thematically that nobodies wouldn't appear.
Where's Barrett?
Yeah, and Barrett's not Kingdom Hearts 3, which he probably won't be because Nomura thinks Final Fantasy isn't important to Kingdom Hearts.
Leon.
Well, he is.
Literally dumbest thing man has ever said.
No, I can see the truth to that.
No, no.
As the
Can we
games
just talk
went-
about how Sora apparently saw everything that was happening from where he's
Carson,
standing?
here's my problem. The man who is the director of the series
But Leon and the others are friends
that is
too.
literally
yes.
founded on Final Fantasy meets Disney said, I don't think they're that important. That's your fault, motherfucker!
I did say it wasn't his fault, and I was going to kind of point that out. If he is right, Final Fantasy characters have become underplayed as the series went on, but
Well, that's
he's the
because
one
they
that
don't-
could change that.
That's because they are only used in main series number games. But you sit there and you're like, why aren't they used more? Why don't you use them more? That's what the games are supposed to be. But anyway,
Right. Watch for danger.
but yeah, no, it makes sense that nobody's else are appearing until this world. And most worlds, you know, fit the logic, except for the 2 optional worlds, and the 2 other worlds that I'm like, why nobody's here? And if anything, the only reason that issue exists is because we killed half the organization in the last game. So no, literally all.
Talk, sucker!
Yeah, granted, and you know, even though you know, the issue is that you know Maleficent and Pete just aren't threats in this game.
Wait, there were threats to begin with?
I mean, I don't know,
They're
man.
supposed to be.
They got a giant heartless army.
They're doing things in Kingdom Hearts 3, but you know in this game.
I mean, they got a giant
In
heartless
this
army.
game, you can pretty much ignore them because they don't do anything important. Oh, this scene. This is one of the added scenes. This scene messes me up every time I see it.
Wow, that is a fucking, like, password protection right there.
How aren't you gonna hide your porn? You gotta keep your porn under lock and key, Garson. Let people find out the weird shit you're into.
Like lifeless armor.
Don't insult my wife.
So, wait, it said the life was not...
So has everyone seen this scene?
You showed, I believe, when...
I've watched it.
We all know who this is, right?
When the English localization of this finally came out, this was one of
We
the
all
first
know who
things
this is?
you showed us.
Yeah, because this scene's messed up, and I still don't know the implications.
What do you mean, man? Make perfect sense to me.
I feel like this scene is where the story started doing the story always did cryptic shit.
You
but
know,
this is where it started.
You know, I said I had always wondered why did the characters have no faces with the HUD. I just realized it's so you can pull retroactive canon bullshit like this out of your ass. Because if you say, hypothetically had, like, that be Axel's face, that would kind of hard force you into, okay, we have to do something like that. Well, you know, do something with that, but if we don't show the character's face, it could be anyone.
What do you mean? He's gonna speak. This is a character.
Yeah, I know it's a character.
No, but they do speak, and you know his...
Like,
Well-
there's no changing who this character is, because it wouldn't make sense. And in fact, 358 Days mentions this room in the journal.
Master Ansem, regarding the experiment I presented the other day, with your permission, I'd like to proceed.
I forbid it! Forget this talk of doors and the heart of all worlds. That place must not be defiled.
But Master Ansem, I've been thinking...
They are not. Those thoughts are best forgotten.
I also love how long this damn walk is. Good
It's
lord.
taking a walk, man. It's taking a walk.
It has been far too long,
I was going to say that was...
friend.
I was going to say that's Xemnas, but was doing this, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's Aqua's armor. And Keyblade.
I know, like, what...
Scene is messed up.
I know what that's trying to do in terms of story.
Oh,
That's
is this
supposed...
the other scene? Oh, this is the scene. Yeah, this scene's also messed up. This entire character's existence is messed up.
It's almost like Square made a character design without knowing what his purpose in the plot was going to be. Oh, wait!
His usual spot?
The Chamber of Repose.
Yes. Go and see for yourself.
That isn't funny. I suppose I have no choice but to wait. But the clock is ticking. Time is running out. What to do?
He just goes and hangs out on the floor with the...
It's almost as if
With-
Yeah, what I was going to say was, I know that's supposed to be this, like, oh my god type of moment in the game's story, but when you think about that in logic, it's like, who the fuck would do that? Take, like, a 5-minute fucking walk, and that's the abridged version, so it could easily be double or triple the time, to basically go sit in a fucking
I love this.
Have you forgotten, or were you
He's
procrastinating?
gonna mention somebody he found.
As if I'm doing my job. I'll have you know, I found one just yesterday. Mar something. That puts the organization's count at 11. And since I've been working so hard, I had Lexius take my place for the day. I want to rest up for tomorrow, so I can wake up feeling nice and refreshed.
Is that so? Well then, I will leave you to it. I have work to catch up on. Good day.
Ah, this scene.
Oh, don't be like that. Come on, stay and talk. Isn't it time you told me about Xemnas' secret? How long ago was it? When a bunch of warriors wielding key-shaped swords appeared and unleashed a spectacular battle. And when it was all over, all that was left was a man lying unconscious without his memories. Xemnas, Xehanort, was found by Ansem right around then, wasn't he?
Your point?
The Chamber of Repose. If you recall, that's where we spent our time researching the darkness that resides within people's hearts. It's a graveyard that was sealed by order of Ansem the Wise. The first thing Xemnas did once he got rid of him was to undo the seal and build a room in the back. Ever since then, he holds himself up in that room when he can and he talks to someone. But who? For all I know, he's the only one in that room.
Need I repeat myself about eavesdropping?
This
Not
scene.
eavesdropping.
The
This is
scene
Hear
is
what they were
sketch.
saying. Dying
Because
to
we
find out
we
what it
literally
was, though.
purposely offed this character
You
we're
wouldn't know
talking
anything
about.
about it, would you?
What?
I know I would very much
Zexion.
like to focus
Oh.
on my own
Part of
goals,
Axel's job was to
as
kill
you should with
Zexion.
yours. For we need
Wait,
to
which one was
prepare the new
Zexion?
facility immediately.
That's
He's-
Zexion.
Calm.
No, I didn't...
The one
mean-
that fought Riku with the book.
We're going to need a few more hands on
Axel's job was to kill the traitors, which was Marluxia and
Larxene.
Larxene.
He had to kill.
But
he had to kill
he
Vexen
also-
to prove his worth.
he also had another job,
Place anyway.
which was just make sure that Zexion didn't
He
come
already
back.
shared his intentions
But
with
again,
us.
remember
Did
the
you know there's
reason
something he didn't
Zexion, is the way he is because, like I said, it's where they literally made the character design because they needed 13 for Organization 13, and then they were like, fuck, we don't know what to do with him.
Another graveyard.
But then they do this crap.
Also, like, you want to talk about something that's messed up? I don't know where this came from, but there's a current theory going around. You know that new character that was shown off in the Devil May Cry 5 was, Nero? The one girl with the, like, kind of southern accent. Apparently, something hints at... You remember the bug guy from Devil May Cry 4 that talked with the weird, stutter? Something hints that she's his, like, granddaughter or something. I don't know where the fuck the internet picked that up on, but...
But anyway, that scene's messed up because Axel literally had to off that guy for some reason. and and Zigvar is talking to him.
Hey, you guys are looking like.
And apparently Zexion knows things Zigvar doesn't know, despite the fact that Zigvar is so trusted. He's half Xehanort already.
Like you get into Organization 13. I bet you can't even fight. You shouldn't judge anyone.
I'm just imagining Xemnas having just stupid, like, casual conversations with that armor.
Oh, I told them they were sending the wrong guy.
Even better thing is, just like, he's so caught up into it where he's like hearing replies.
No hearts.
Like I said, I understand the story. What they were trying to do was the story at that moment. When you think about the actual logic behind it, it's like, who the fuck would do that to basically just go into, like, you know, take a fucking 10-minute walk to go down to a secret room to basically sit in a chair and ramble about cryptic nonsense?
But it's his friend.
Best boss in the game.
When you get this music and you're just like, wow, we wasted this music on Demeeks.
Yeah, you see, this boss isn't notorious for being an incredibly obnoxious difficulty spike, and while I will admit it is bullshit that the water clones instant kill you, because a game should never have an instant kill, ever. That's just the basic principle of game design. I will be that guy and say I feel like the reason this boss is known for being so hard is kind of because everyone just kind of button mashes against it, when, as we talked about before, that literally just does not work.
Again, no one said you couldn't use fire. You just never did.
He is weak to fire, and they are weak to fire. It's great. I also love how his instrument is a sitar.
I do wonder what, like, the process for the weapon. I do wonder what the design process for, like, designing the weapons were, because, like, what relation does a sitar have to water?
What do you mean?
It doesn't.
This point isn't water. He's barred.
Yeah, he's barred.
That's why he's nobody's dancer. He just has, I don't know. We just sat down and said, you know, give him water powers.
Yeah, and you know, it makes sense why Demeeks is the worst organization, remember? Because he's based off the worst Final Fantasy class.
Ooh, the Bard hate! The Bard hate!
But the Bard is the best thing!
What the fuck does the Bard actually do?
He's fire. He's what Fire Emblem has the dancer.
That reminded me
The
of.
dancers are overpowered.
That reminded me of one of the best.
He plays you a song.
That reminded me of one of the best conversation things where it was this long Tumblr post of these people that play D&D having a rant, and they were like, no, if you're a bard, it's like, you cannot just roll a d20 and fuck the dragon. And it was this long rant about how a dragon could easily, how she could fuck a million better things than your horny bard ass. And it's just, and it was this long rant about, it became a discussion on whether it was feasible for a bard to fuck or not fuck the dragon.
A bit more seriously, what does a bard in Final Fantasy actually do? I'm guessing it's...
I just said they do what dancers do in Fire Emblem.
No.
That's why he has dancers.
But
he's the bard and he has dancers.
The
They're
dancer,
literally two different classes.
You just look at him and you say, play a bitch a song.
The dancer in Fire Emblem gives you
guys,
another turn.
you want to talk about retroactive? This scene right here is retroactive.
How so?
Explain to me how he comes back in 3.
We went and found him and turned him back into a nobody, apparently.
No, he wasn't dying there. He was just
No.
time.
No. When you get smacked with the Keyblade and you get wrecked, you dead.
No, he didn't die. He
And
was
when
just sent through time. Send
And when
the
you go-
future.
and
Hey,
you got
actually,
Black
somebody
Dead.
tried to tell me in Kingdom Hearts 1, Ansem doesn't die. The young Xehanort just picks him up and
Didn't
then he
we,
explodes.
Sean? Didn't you repeat that in a?
I think last time, because I was so
That's-
triggered that I was told it.
Hey,
That's why.
Hey,
I
I want you to
joke
imagine
about it.
every
Hey, I want
significant
you to-
death, and then young Xehanort actually, like, using the Zoroardo, and then just popping in, picking up the person, throwing down some magical effect. So he literally, time stops, he uses Topza.
Sora is swinging his.
Sora swings the Keyblade,
The
Meeks
time is
No, he
frozen.
does.
the
like-
Meeks is dying.
He
and
grabs the Meeks.
You hear stops also this.
No,
Oh,
he,
the same.
Wait, hold on. Best scene in the game.
no, he does.
It's time for the question of the day, my overall thoughts on the topic. So anyway, what is your opinion on the fight with Demeeks? In my opinion, this battle is artificially difficult because if you run out of time fighting his water clones, that results in an instant game over, and I think the fight is incredibly stupid because of that. I always hate instant failure states. That's artificial difficulty at its finest. That just creates a very thin margin of error that forces you to restart for no good reason other than to be arbitrarily more challenging. But anyway, you can leave your thoughts, opinions, and answers in the comments, or you can leave them on social media. All my social media links, as well as my Discord link, are in the video description. Now, as always, I need to be a shill for a minute. If you follow me on social media, and if you subscribe to the channel, that really helps our communities grow. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed the video, so I will see you all next time.